The planet Serath 5 had never known peace. Its skies were darkened by storms, not of weather, but of fire. Ships of the Clithar Dominion had turned its oceans to steam, its forests to ash, and its cities to rubble. The people of Serath 5 had only one hope now, the distant stars. On the surface, the survivors huddled in makeshift shelters, staring at the sky with fear in their eyes. They had watched countless worlds fall under the Clithar's rule, their inhabitants enslaved or exterminated. And now Serath 5 was next. High above the planet, in orbit, the Clithar flagship Vorak pulsed with menace. Its hull gleamed with a black sheen that reflected the dying light of the system's sun. Commander Ilarn, a towering alien with a voice like Rolling Stone, looked down at the planet. "They will surrender," Ilarn said, his claws tapping on the control panel. "They have no choice. Resistance is meaningless." A junior officer, smaller and nervous, tilted his head. "Sir, they have sent a distress call." "To the Galactic Council. Should we not respond?" Ilarn's eyes glowed with a red intensity. "Ha, the Galactic Council? They will do nothing. They are weak. Their rules will not save these insects. Prepare the bombardment. By sunrise, this world will kneel, or be dust." On the planet below, the distress call had already reached the Galactic Council's communication network. In a council chamber on a massive orbital station, representatives of dozens of species debated what to do. "Serath 5 is defenseless, Ma," said a representative of the Drenari, a lizard-like species with scales that shimmered in violet. "We cannot allow this. The Clithar will enslave or kill every living being on that planet." Another voice, cold and metallic, echoed through the chamber. "And if we act? The Clithar are powerful. They will destroy a council ship, or worse, a planet under our protection. The risk is too high. We must not interfere." The debate went on, voices rising and falling. The leaders spoke of rules, treaties, and balance of power. They spoke of diplomacy and negotiation, as if the screaming pleas of the Serathians were not urgent, as if their homes did not burn. Meanwhile, on Serath 5, the people had no time for diplomacy. Children clutched their parents' hands. Elders whispered prayers to gods no one truly knew. Soldiers who had survived the first waves of attack scrambled to set up defenses, but they were ill-equipped and outnumbered. In a darkened hall, the planet's leader, Chancellor Illyra, stared at a flickering holoscreen. Her eyes were tired, red-rimmed, and filled with worry. "They will not help us," she said quietly to herself. "Not the Council. Not anyone. We are alone." Her aide, a young officer named Kael, placed a hand on her shoulder. "Chancellor, we can try one last thing. We can send a message to Earth." Earth, the name sounded like a legend to the Serathians. A planet far across the stars, home to a species they had heard was strong, capable, and fearless. But it was also far away, and they had no proof that humans even noticed the distress of small worlds like theirs. "They are too far," Illyra whispered. "Too far, Kael. And even if they come, what can a handful of ships do against the Clithar fleet?" Kael hesitated. "We have no choice, Chancellor. We must try. The humans, they are said to act when no one else will." Illyra nodded. She took a deep breath and activated the transmission array. Across space, the distress call was sent. A simple, desperate message: "Help us. The Clithar Dominion will destroy our world. We ask for mercy. Please, anyone, help us." The signal raced through the void, past star systems, past asteroid fields, past council outposts that ignored it, until it reached the edge of human space. On Earth, in a hidden command station orbiting the planet, the message arrived on a secure terminal. Lieutenant Commander Mara Jin stared at the screen, her brow furrowed. "Distress call from Serath 5, she said, reading the message aloud. Her voice was calm, but her eyes burned with determination. "The Clithar Dominion. They are about to destroy the planet. Council is refusing to act." Around her, a group of human officers listened in silence. They were trained for emergencies, for battles the galaxy could not imagine. Yet even they felt a chill run through them. Captain Rylan Ward, the commanding officer, leaned over the console. "How far is it?" "Too far for a diplomatic mission," Mara said. "By the time a council fleet arrives, if they even try, the planet will be gone." Rylan's jaw tightened. "Then we go ourselves." "Prepare the fleet. I want all ships ready for immediate hyperspace jump, and no council approval necessary. This planet needs humans, not debates." A murmur ran through the room. Humans were known across the galaxy as fearless warriors. But this was more than a rescue mission. It was an act of defiance against the Clithar. a species that had destroyed countless worlds. "Captain," Mara said, "this is risky. The Clithar fleet is massive. We are small in comparison. Even with our technology," Rylan held up a hand. "I know the numbers. But humans do not fight like the rest of the galaxy. We adapt, we innovate, we protect those who cannot defend themselves. That is who we are. Ready the fleet! We jump in 1 hour." Back on Sirath 5, the Clithar commander was preparing his fleet for the final assault. Ships descended into the atmosphere, lasers and missiles primed for destruction. The people looked up at the darkened sky, praying for any kind of miracle. And then across the void, tiny points of light appeared. Human ships, sleek and angular, yet bristling with weapons unlike anything that Clithar had seen. They moved with a confidence that surprised even the veteran Clithar pilots. Commander Ilarn narrowed his eyes. "What? Who are these fools? They are coming from Earth," an officer said, voice trembling. "Small fleet, but they have weapons unlike any we have encountered." Ilarn's claws clenched. "Prepare for battle. Crush them. Show them the price of meddling in the Clithar dominion." The humans approached calmly. Their flagship, Horizon's Edge, led the formation, its hull glinting with reinforced alloys and adaptive shields. Fighter craft swarmed like silver hornets around it. Captain Rylan Ward addressed his crew. "Remember your training. Protect the innocent. Strike with precision. Do not underestimate the Clithar. They are ruthless, but we are human. We fight for more than victory. We fight for justice." On the surface of Sirath 5, Chancellor Illyra and Kale watched the human ships appear. They could hardly believe their eyes. "Could it be?" Illyra whispered. "Could humans have come?" Kale's mouth hung open. I think, yes, they have come." The Clithar fleet hesitated. They had never faced humans directly before. Most species considered Earth's warriors a myth, a story told in hushed tones. Now the myth was real. The humans were here. From the bridge of Horizon's Edge, Captain Ward scanned the enemy formation. Thousands of ships, all advanced, all deadly. The odds were against them. But humans never counted odds the same way as others. He turned to his communications officer. "Open a channel to the Clithar. Let them know. Mercy will not be given, but the innocent will be defended." The voice of the officer trembled slightly as the message was sent. Across space it reached Commander Ilarn. "Humans," Ilarn said, his voice low and dangerous. "They think they can stop us? They will die." But even as he spoke, the humans were already positioning themselves, moving with precision, their formation tight and purposeful. Fighters weaved between Clithar ships, scanning for weak points. Engineers worked on shields, adjusting energy flows in real time. Humans were preparing for a fight unlike any the galaxy had seen. And on the planet below, the people of Sirath 5 finally dared to hope. They whispered prayers not to gods, but to Earth, to the humans who had come across light years to protect them. Hours passed. The Clithar hesitated. They had never encountered such coordination, such bravery, such defiance. Ships that seemed fragile moved with deadly purpose, disabling weapons and creating diversions. Captain Ward observed the fleet. "This is only the beginning," he said quietly. "They asked for mercy, but we will show them something else. We will show them what humans do when the innocent are threatened. They will remember it for the rest of their lives." Above the planet, the first human attack drones descended. The Clithar fleet was forced to scatter, buying time for the civilians below. Explosions lit the sky. The ground shook. Fires flared in distant cities. Chancellor Illyra watched from a secure bunker. Tears ran down her face, but she smiled. The humans had come. They had answered her planet's call. Kale turned to her. "Chancellor, they are here to save us. And I think they will succeed." Illyra nodded. Her heart filled with hope for the first time in weeks. "Then let them. Let the humans show the Clithar that even the smallest world has defenders." In the vastness of space, Captain Ward looked at the enemy fleet once more. "Humans fight for more than themselves," he said softly. "We fight for life. And tonight, life will win." The stage was set. The Clithar Dominion, ruthless and merciless, faced humans for the first time. They did not yet understand what that meant. And across the galaxy, a legend began to grow. A legend that would change the way every species viewed Earth forever. The human fleet moved closer. The first shots would be fired at dawn, And the people of Sirath 5 huddled in fear and hope, waited for the miracle that had crossed the stars to find them. The first rays of the Sirath 5 sun barely pierced the smoke-filled skies when the human fleet made its presence undeniable. Across the void, the alien Clethar fleet bristled with weapons, but they hesitated. Humans had arrived. From the bridge of Horizon's Edge, Captain Rylan Ward watched the enemy ships carefully. His eyes were calm, but his mind was alive with calculations. Every ship, every squadron, every weapon system had a place in the plan. "Status report," he commanded. Lieutenant Mara Jin, his communications officer, tapped the console. "Clethar fleet is responding cautiously. They are scanning our formation but not yet firing. Our approach seems to have unsettled them." Rylan smirked. "Good. Let them underestimate us for a few more moments. Then we show them why humans are different." Human ships moved with precision, weaving into formations that seemed almost organic. Fighters darted ahead, drawing the attention of Clethar scouting drones. Behind them, corvettes and frigates adjusted their shields, ready to absorb the first wave of attacks. On the Clethar flagship Vorak, Commander Ilarn bared his teeth. "Open fire. Crush them before they can reach the planet." The first shots tore through space. Plasma beams arced toward the human formation, and explosions lit the void. Yet the humans moved as one, adjusting shields in real time and evading the worst of the fire. Fighter drones intercepted missiles, detonating them far from the fleet. "Targeting systems recalibrated," Mara reported. "We can take out their forward gunners if we push now." Rylan nodded. "Do it, but be careful. We don't want to waste lives unnecessarily. Remember why we fight. Protect the innocent." Human attack drones surged forward, weaving through beams of enemy fire. Their weapons were unlike anything the Clethar had ever faced. Adaptive energy pulses struck enemy ships, bypassing shields and disabling weapons. The Clethar fleet, experienced and ruthless, was caught off guard. "They are precise," one junior Clethar officer said, voice trembling. "Every shot, every movement. Coordinated. This is unnatural." Commander Ilarn slammed a claw on the control console. "Do not speak of unnatural. These are humans, weaklings. They cannot stop us." "Focus fire!" But the humans were already adapting. Squadrons split and merged, creating patterns that confused enemy targeting systems. Fighters swarmed around larger ships, cutting off escape routes and disabling key weapon systems. Every move was calculated yet fluid, as if the fleet itself were alive. On the planet below, the people of Sirath 5 watched through observation towers and remaining screens. They could see the human ships dancing across the sky, dodging blasts, striking back with perfect timing. Children clung to parents and elders whispered prayers not to gods but to Earth, hoping these humans could succeed where others had failed. "Look," a young boy shouted, pointing at a cluster of enemy ships spinning helplessly. They can't hit them." Chancellor Illyra, hiding in a reinforced bunker, allowed herself a small smile. "They fight like legends," she whispered. "Humans. They are different." Meanwhile, in the midst of the chaos, human engineers worked tirelessly. On board Horizon's Edge, mechanical arms adjusted shield matrices, rerouted power, and repaired damage almost as fast as it occurred. The humans' combination of technology and ingenuity was terrifying to watch. Lieutenant Commander Mara Jin noticed something. "Captain, they are concentrating their fire on the fighters. If we lose them, our advantage disappears." Rylan's eyes narrowed. "Then we hit the command ship. The Vorak is their heart. Take it down and the rest will falter." The human fleet adjusted. Corvettes formed a protective barrier around the fighter squadrons. Bombers charged forward, their weapons targeting the main guns of the Clethar flagship. The battle became a blur of light and movement, lasers cutting across the void, engines leaving trails of shimmering energy. Commander Ilarn roared in fury as his flagship shuddered under the attack. "Stop them. Do not let them reach the Vorak." But every move the Clethar made was anticipated. Humans had studied their tactics, learned from their patterns, and adapted in real time. Every attack met a counterattack. Every strategy met a surprise. A human fighter pilot, young but fearless, shouted over the comms. "Targeting main weapon array now. Brace for impact." The bombers released their payload. Energy beams struck the Vorak's main weapon systems, overloading circuits. Explosions rippled through the ship and massive sections of its hull buckled. The Clethar flagship faltered, its coordinated assault disrupted. Larn's eyes burned with rage. "Impossible. How can a handful of humans do this?" Rylan's voice came over the comms. "Calm. confident. Humans fight for more than power. We fight for life. And today, the innocent will not die. As the flagship faltered, the Clythar fleet began to scatter. Smaller ships tried to retreat, while others attempted to regroup. But the humans anticipated every maneuver. Fighters blocked escape routes. Missiles intercepted fleeing ships. Corvettes targeted engines and navigation systems. On Sirath 5, people stepped out of shelters, staring at the sky in awe. Fires still burned across their cities, but hope was no longer a fragile ember. Humans had arrived, and with them came the promise of survival. Chancellor Elira turned to Kale. I never imagined this. Humans, they are here. For us, Kale nodded. And they fight like nothing we have ever seen. They will protect us. I know it, the battle raged for hours. The Clythar tried everything. Coordinated attacks, overwhelming numbers, even kamikaze ships. But humans adapted at every turn. They used terrain in space, weaving through asteroid fields and abandoned satellites. They deployed decoys and electronic countermeasures. They fought as one organism, each ship anticipating the other's moves. In the middle of the chaos, a small human squadron executed a daring maneuver. They looped behind the enemy formation and struck the rear lines, cutting off supply ships and reinforcements. The Clythar were stunned. They had never faced such strategy, such unpredictability. Captain Ward watched it unfold on his screen. "Excellent," he muttered. "Keep pushing. Every ship, every fighter, coordinate. Protect the innocent. Strike with precision." As the sun rose higher, the Clythar flagship was crippled. Its weapons offline, engines failing. The ship drifted in space at the mercy of the humans. Killarn's fury was unmatched. This cannot be. Humans, they are not supposed to be able to do this. Ryland's voice echoed through space. Calm, firm. We are not supposed to, but we are. And we will fight for life, for justice, for those who cannot defend themselves. Mercy is not given to the guilty, but the innocent. We protect. The rest of the Clythar fleet, seeing their command ship disabled, began to retreat. Fear spread among their ranks. Ships that had once fired with deadly precision now faltered, unsure of the humans' next move. On Sirath 5, the people began to cheer, their voices rising above the crackling fires and smoke. The humans were winning. Against all odds, against all expectations, humans were turning the tide. Chancellor Elira allowed herself a rare smile. They may actually save us, Kyle nodded, his eyes still glued to the sky. Not may, they will. I can feel it. Humans, they are something else entirely. Captain Ward surveyed the battlefield from his bridge. He knew the fight was not over. The Clythar were strong, ruthless, and relentless. But he also knew something else. Humans never gave up. They never surrendered. And today the universe would see what humanity could do when they fought for justice. For life and for the weak. Hours passed, and the last of the Clythar assault ships retreated beyond the planet's orbit. Explosions still lit the sky as human crews worked tirelessly to secure the area. Fighters patrolled above the planet, ensuring no stragglers could return. Captain Ward looked at his crew. Good work. Every life we saved today, every innocent, is a victory. But remember, this is just the beginning. We do not stop here. We must ensure the Clythar learn a lesson. Humans fight for those who cannot fight for themselves. Lieutenant Mara Jin smiled. They will remember it. Every system they have conquered will know the name Earth after today. And on the surface of Sirath 5, the people began to emerge from the ruins of their homes. They had survived the first wave of destruction not by luck, but because humans had come. Children ran through the streets, pointing at the sky, marveling at the ships above. Elders knelt, whispering words of thanks to the distant humans who had crossed light years to protect them. Soldiers who had once been ready to surrender now lifted their heads, inspired by the bravery and skill of the humans who fought alongside them. Chancellor Elira turned to Kale. We owe them everything, not just for saving our lives, but for showing us what courage, ingenuity, and sacrifice truly mean. Kyle nodded solemnly. They are not just warriors. They are legends in the making. As night fell on Sirath 5, the human fleet maintained a watchful orbit. Explosions still echoed in the distance from scattered Clythar ships, but the immediate threat had been neutralized. The people of the planet could sleep safely for the first time in weeks, knowing that humans were their guardians. Captain Ward looked out at the stars, knowing that the battle had only just begun. The Clithar Dominion would not forget this day. They would regroup. They would strike again. But he also knew something else. The galaxy had underestimated humans for too long, and now humans had shown what they could do. Humanity had arrived. Humanity had fought, and humanity would not stop until justice was served. The legend of the remnants of the Clithar fleet retreated beyond Sirath V's orbit, but Captain Rylan Ward knew better than to celebrate. The first battle had been won, yes, but the Clithar Dominion was far from defeated. Somewhere out in the void, a superweapon waited, a massive battle station, capable of obliterating the entire planet in minutes. Horizon's Edge report, Ward ordered. Leaning over the bridge console, Lieutenant Commander Mara Jin scanned the fleet's sensors. Captain, the Clithar superweapon is approaching from the outer system. Shields are immense. Weapons unmatched. This is unlike anything we've seen before. Ward clenched his jaw. We adapt. We innovate. This is what humans do best. Plot an intercept course, Mara. We hit them before they can target the planet. The fleet moved with a purposeful precision, human ships weaving through the void like threads of a tapestry. Every movement was calculated, yet flexible. Small attack drones scouted ahead, probing the defenses of the enormous Clithar station. The closer they got, the more apparent it became that this would not be a simple fight. On the Clithar superweapon, Commander Ilarn seethed. The humans had survived his fleet's assault, shattered his flagship, and now dared to come for him. How dare these weaklings challenge the Dominion? He roared to his officers. Destroy them all. Leave nothing. The Clithar deployed defensive drones and plasma turrets, creating a wall of fire that stretched across the void. It was a trap. Any fleet entering the zone would be cut to pieces before they could reach the core. Ward studied the formation carefully. They want us to fall into a kill zone. We'll give them a taste, but on our terms. Split the fleet into 3 squadrons. Alpha and Beta draw their fire. Gamma goes for the core. Timing is everything. We strike as one. Mara Jin nodded. Coordinates locked. Fighters ready for evasive maneuvers. Bombers armed. This will be dangerous, Rylan gave a firm nod. Humans never back down. Execute. The fleet surged forward, weaving past the Clithar's outer defenses. Plasma beams streaked across the void, narrowly missing human ships that twisted and darted with impossible agility. The Clithar drones fired relentlessly, but human fighters intercepted, exploding in brilliant flashes of light. Captain, Alpha Squadron is drawing their fire, Mara reported. Beta is in position. Gamma moving toward the core. Ward's eyes never left the tactical map. Good, keep it tight. Gamma, remember, the moment we reach the core, focus all fire on their energy nodes. Disable them before they can activate planetary annihilation protocols. The Clithar had never encountered an enemy that could anticipate their moves. Every attack met a counterattack. Every strategy was met with adaptation. Their superweapons' defenses, formidable as they were, began to strain under the relentless human assault. On board the superweapon, Ilarn's frustration grew. These humans, they do not fight like any species we have conquered. Their movements, their precision, it is unnatural. An officer hesitated. Commander, our outer defenses are failing. They are bypassing every turret, every drone. They are inside our perimeter. Ilarn's claws clenched. Impossible. Activate the core defenses. Fire everything at them. Leave nothing standing. But humans had already anticipated the response. Engineers on Horizon's Edge rerouted energy, temporarily overloading the superweapon's turrets with counter-frequency pulses. Shields flickered and faltered. Bombers and fighter squads slipped through the gaps, weaving past explosions to strike at weak points in the hull. Below, on Sirath 5, Chancellor Elira and Kale watched the skies. The ground shook as the distant flashes of battle reflected against the clouds. The humans were fighting directly at the heart of the threat, risking everything to save them. They are going for it, Kale whispered. They are attacking the superweapon directly. Elira's hands gripped the console. If they succeed, we survive. If they fail, her voice trembled, but she did not look away. We must believe they will succeed. Inside the superweapon's core chamber, the Clithar officers scrambled to reinforce energy conduits. Human fighters swooped in with precise attacks, hitting critical nodes with pinpoint accuracy. Explosions tore through the massive station, sparks flying into the void. Ryland's voice cut through the comms. Gamma Squadron, focus fire on the core nodes. Do not stop. Protect each other. Lives depend on precision. Human bombers released energy charges designed to overload the superweapon systems. The explosions reverberated across space, shaking the massive Clythar structure. Turrets malfunctioned. Shields flickered. Panic spread among the Clithar crew. "Commander!" one officer shouted. "The humans. They are inside the core perimeter." Ilarn's eyes burned with rage. "Stop them. Do not fail me!" But it was too late. Human engineers on the fighters' support drones hacked into minor systems, feeding false readings and jamming weapons. Explosions tore through critical junctions, and finally, the energy node that powered the superweapon's planetary annihilation beam collapsed. The Clythar crew screamed in disbelief. "It is impossible." "The humans? They have destroyed the core node." Ward allowed himself a small nod. "Good, hold formation. Finish the job. Don't let them regroup." Alpha and Beta squadrons pressed their advantage, attacking remaining turrets and defensive stations. Fighters moved like shadows, striking from unexpected angles. The superweapon, once thought unstoppable, now floundered in space, its systems failing one by one. On the planet below, Illyra and Kale saw the final flashes of battle. Smoke and fire filled the skies, but the humans were victorious. Hope, long forgotten, returned to Sirith V's people. They are winning," Kale cried. Illyra nodded, tears running down her face. "They are humans. Our protectors. They are showing the Clythar what it means to fight for the innocent." Ilarn, realizing defeat was inevitable, ordered a retreat. "Withdraw. Withdraw at once. Do not allow the humans to destroy the superweapon completely." But the humans anticipated the retreat. Horizon's Edge and supporting ships cut off the escape route. Fighters harried the withdrawing ships, disabling engines and weapons. The Clythar superweapon, once a symbol of terror, drifted helpless in the void, completely neutralized. Captain Ward addressed his fleet. "Status report. Ensure all enemy ships are contained. Humanity has won this engagement, but we do not rest. We protect the innocent and we finish the job." Mara Jinn's voice came back over the comms. "Core node destroyed. Remaining Clythar ships fleeing or incapacitated. Sirath 5 is safe. For now." The human fleet maintained orbit over the planet, scanners sweeping the skies for any remaining threats. Fires on the surface still burned, but the people were safe. The Clythar's message of terror had been stopped, and humans had shown the galaxy their strength, courage, and ingenuity. Illyra turned to Kale. "We are alive. Because of them, I do not know how to repay this debt." Kale shook his head. "No debt. Humans do not fight for reward. They fight because it is right. They fight because they protect the weak when no one else will." Below, the people of Sirith 5 began the long process of rebuilding. Children laughed in the streets for the first time in weeks. Elders told stories of the humans' bravery, painting them as legends. Soldiers who had once been ready to surrender now trained under the guidance of human advisors, learning tactics and discipline unlike anything they had known. Captain Ward observed the planet from orbit. They will survive. They will rebuild. And the Clythar will remember today. Every system they conquer will now fear humanity. Not just for our weapons, but for our courage, our strategy, and our will to protect life. Mara Jinn joined him at the viewing port. "Captain, you really think the Clythar will retreat completely?" Ward shook his head. "No, they are strong, relentless, and they will return. But we have shown them a truth they cannot ignore. Humans do not back down. Humans fight for justice, for life, for the innocent. And the galaxy? The galaxy will remember it." As the night sky over Sirith 5 filled with the quiet hum of human ships, a legend began to grow. A legend of a species that arrived when no one else dared, that fought when all seemed lost, that protected the weak with unwavering resolve. Somewhere in the Clythar Dominion, Commander Ilarn seethed. The humans had not only destroyed his fleet and crippled his superweapon, they had humiliated him in front of his crew. He swore vengeance, but even he could not deny the truth. Humans were not like any enemy he had ever faced. And across the galaxy, whispers began to spread. Earth's warriors. They fight for life, not for power. They protect the weak. They do not back down. When humans arrive, mercy is not asked for. They are justice. Captain Ward, standing on the bridge of Horizon's Edge, looked at the stars and thought quietly to himself. This is only the beginning. The galaxy has underestimated us for too long. They will learn soon enough that humans fight differently. We fight for what is right. And we never stop. The battle for Sirath 5 had ended. Humanity had won. But the war against the Clithar Dominion, and all who would threaten the innocent, was just beginning. And somewhere in the distance, hidden among the stars, other planets began to listen. Other species began to wonder. When humans decided to act, the galaxy's strongest could no longer assume victory. The tide had turned, and humans were at the center of it. The Clithar Dominion had retreated, but Captain Rylan Ward knew the fight was not over. Somewhere in the void, remnants of the enemy fleet lurked. More than that, the Clithar would regroup, repair, and return with vengeance. Sirath 5 was safe for now, but the humans had a mission: to ensure the planet would never again tremble under fear. Horizon's Edge, status? Ward asked, eyes scanning the fleet systems. Lieutenant Commander Mara Jin responded, her voice calm but alert. Fleet is operational. Minor damages repaired. Fighters and corvettes are ready. No signs of Clithar activity in immediate orbit, but sensors indicate several ships retreating toward the outer systems. They may regroup there. Ward nodded. Good, prepare strike teams. We finish this today. We cannot allow them to rebuild and threaten Sirath 5 again. On the surface of Sirath 5, Chancellor Elira and Kale observed the humans through long-range screens. The people were beginning to rebuild, clearing debris and tending to the wounded, yet the sky above reminded them that the threat had not vanished entirely. They saved us once, Elira said quietly. They will save us again if they must. Kale nodded. They are unlike any other species. They fight not for conquest, not for power, but for life itself. Above the planet, the human fleet moved with purpose. Strike teams and sleek fighters and bombers darted into the void, scanning for any remaining Clithar vessels. Every squadron was coordinated, every maneuver precise. In a distant system, the remaining Clithar ships had gathered around a repaired dreadnought, its hull scarred from previous battles. Commander Elarn barked orders at his officers. We cannot retreat forever. Humanity has humiliated us. We will strike again, and this time we will annihilate them. But his officers hesitated. Many had witnessed the humans' tactics, their precision, their courage. They had seen how even small numbers could dismantle the most formidable weaponry. Some muttered fears they dared not speak aloud. Commander, humans, they fight differently. Larn's eyes burned with rage. Enough, they are still mortals. They are not gods. We will crush them. Back in human space, Ward had already anticipated the Clithar regroup. Sensors indicate a dreadnought and several cruisers assembling, he said. We will need a multi-pronged strategy. Mara, open comms. Let them know this. Any further attacks on Sirath 5 will meet the full force of humanity. Mara hesitated. Do you think they will listen? Ward's expression was firm. They may not. But they will fear us, and that is sometimes the only language the galaxy understands. The humans moved into position. Alpha, Beta, and Gamma squadrons spread through space, creating traps among asteroid belts and debris fields. The Clithar dreadnought entered the zone, confident that their firepower would destroy the humans. But the humans were ready. Fighters swarmed around the dreadnought, small but fast, drawing fire and disrupting targeting systems. Bombers launched precision strikes, targeting engines and weapon arrays. Human engineers on support drones hacked into minor systems, causing confusion and malfunctions. Captain, Mara reported. We've disabled half of their turrets already. Shields are weakening. Ward smiled faintly. Good. Push harder. Keep the pressure. Do not give them a chance to regroup. The Clithar realized too late that they had walked into a trap. Human tactics were fluid, unpredictable, and terrifyingly effective. Fighters darted through gaps in enemy fire, striking critical points. Bombers synchronized explosions to maximize damage while minimizing risk. On Sirath 5, Chancellor Elira and Kale watched in awe. The humans were not only defending, they were hunting, and they were relentless. They are extraordinary, Kale said. I never thought one species could move and fight like this. Elira nodded. They are showing us what it truly means to protect life. They are not just warriors, they are guardians. The dreadnought's shields began to collapse. Its turrets malfunctioned, turning fire inward. The smaller Clithar ships tried to retreat, but human fighters intercepted them. disabling engines and cutting communications. Ward's voice came over the comms. Calm, commanding, unwavering. This is your last chance. Retreat and abandon your conquest. Sireth 5 is under our protection. Any further attacks will be met with overwhelming force. Ylarn's voice boomed over their systems, filled with rage. We will return. Humanity will pay. Ward's response was steady. We will be ready. But today your fleet is finished. Humanity does not allow injustice to thrive. With coordinated strikes, the human fleet dismantled the remaining Clithar forces. Explosions erupted across space as turrets, engines, and navigation systems failed one by one. Ships drifted powerless, unable to escape. On the bridge of Horizon's Edge, Ward surveyed the aftermath. All enemy ships neutralized. No threat remains in this system. Sireth 5 is safe. Mara Jin exhaled, relief evident in her voice. We did it. We actually did it. The Clithar, they are retreating, scattered. The planet is safe, Ward nodded. For now. But remember this, Mara. Humans fight for life, for justice, for those who cannot fight themselves. We do not stop when the first battle is won. We continue until the threat is gone. On Sireth 5, the people began to celebrate cautiously. Fires still burned in the distance, but hope returned. Children played in the streets. Soldiers trained under human guidance. The planet's leaders started organizing relief efforts, rebuilding what had been destroyed. Elira turned to Kale, her voice steady but filled with emotion. They have done more than save us. They have shown us the true meaning of courage, of honor, of selflessness. They are humans. They are unlike any other species, Kale nodded. And they fight not for power, not for conquest, but because it is right. That is what makes them dangerous and admirable. High above the planet, Ward addressed the fleet. We have protected the innocent. We have defeated a superior force through courage, strategy, and teamwork. Remember this, all of you. This is what humans do. This is why we are feared, why we are respected. We fight for life, for justice, for those who cannot fight themselves. The human fleet maintained orbit over Sireth 5, providing a watchful presence as repairs and rebuilding continued below. The Clithar Dominion, humiliated and scattered, would think twice before returning. Somewhere in the void, other civilizations took notice. Rumors of Earth's warriors spread quickly. How they had crossed light years to save a defenseless world. How a small but disciplined fleet could dismantle the most powerful superweapon. And how humans did not fight for glory, but for life itself. Captain Ward stood on the bridge of Horizon's Edge, looking down at the recovering planet. He knew the fight for justice was never ending, but he also knew the humans' legend had begun. They asked for mercy, Ward said quietly to Mara. And we gave them something else. We gave them hope. We gave them life. We showed them that humanity does not back down, and humanity protects those who cannot protect themselves. Mara smiled. The galaxy will remember this day, Captain. They will speak of humans differently now. Ward nodded. Let them. Let every species know that Earth fights for the innocent, that Earth does not negotiate with tyranny, that humans will always rise when others fall. On Sireth 5, the people lit fires in celebration. Children laughed. Soldiers trained. The planet would rebuild, stronger and wiser, carrying the memory of the humans who had come across the stars to protect them. Chancellor Elira looked to the sky, whispering a silent thanks. Earth, humans, thank you. You have given us a second chance at life. And in the distant reaches of space, Captain Ward and his fleet moved onward. Other systems might call for help. Other worlds might tremble under tyranny, but humans were ready. Humans would answer. The Clithar Dominion had learned a lesson. When humans arrived, mercy was not asked, and mercy was not given. Humans fought for justice, for life, and for the innocent. And when humans fought, even the most powerful enemies found themselves unprepared, overwhelmed, and ultimately defeated. Captain Ward watched the stars stretch into the distance. The galaxy was vast, full of threats, full of injustice, but humanity had proven its resolve. Humanity had proven its strength. And somewhere deep in the void, other civilizations whispered in awe and fear the same words. When Earth's warriors arrive, the innocent are safe, and the guilty will learn to fear humanity. The legend of Earth's warriors had begun. The galaxy would never forget.